Okay, we're checking connection. Oh, we're live. Okay, here we go. Let's go. So, this is gonna be a big live. Oh, people's already in here. So, what's good? We told everybody that I was gonna be live at 5 o'clock. I'm not even kidding. At 4:59, a piece on my ring light broke. So I'm sitting here trying to fix it, and I'm like, I'm supposed to be live at 5. Okay, so we're here, we're good. That's perfect. So this is gonna be a really, really dope live talking about all models worldwide, talking about me, just kind of like as Kier. Oh, by the way, my name is Kier, and I'm the founder of All Models Worldwide. I don't know if some of y'all even know that. I just kind of assume that everyone knows that, but I guess not. So I'm going to be talking about All Models Worldwide, the journey, about myself, about what All Models Worldwide even is, what we do, how we do what we do, how we got all the contacts that we have, and how we're even able to do all the things that we do for not even just aspiring models, but even models who have been around for a while, models who have been signed for a while, models who are currently signed. There are a lot of different things that we do for models, and so I think it's probably best for me to just kind of come on and just talk about it and be open and be candid and be transparent, and address some like frequently asked questions that I get, but just kind of more or less just go through like, hey, like what the hell is All Models Worldwide in the first place? Is it an agency? Are you a mother agency? Like, are you signing us? Someone asked me the other day, like, is this a boot camp? And I was like, no, it's none of those things. So I just decided, hey, listen, I'm just going to go live and talk about it myself. And hopefully I'll be able to answer everybody's questions. And I'm also going to try to put this on the page, on the Instagram TV. So for whoever's not able to view this here, like live with us, that they'll be able to kind of go in and take a look at it. So that's pretty much enough with the introductions. Let's go ahead and get into it. So I'm Kier. I'm from Texas, but I live in Los Angeles now, which is also like a really big thing for a lot of people, because I live in Los Angeles, and so people kept thinking that like they needed to live in Los Angeles in order to work with All Models Worldwide, and like that's not the case at all. Yo, they getting right to it. How much does it cost? You doing all that talking, bro? How what that bread look like? Wait, hold on. I'm gonna go through the whole thing. I'm gonna go through the whole thing. She said, how much does it cost? I don't want to hear all that talking. All right. So, but this video specifically is just for me to talk about what All Models Worldwide is. And then we'll kind of get into, and then we'll get into like the specifics of it and how it works as it pertains to you as a model wanting to work with All Models Worldwide. But I felt like I should probably start with like how it began in the first place, because I get that question a lot. Whenever I have phone calls with a lot of the models who are deciding to work with us or not, they tend to have phone calls with me, and then they'll ask me a couple different questions. But one of the main questions that they ask me is like, how did you even get started in this and all that? So I felt like I should probably start there. Yes, you will actually have access to this video later. I'm going to have it in the Instagram TV, the IGTV videos. But then also I'm going to probably I guess like the first minute of this video is going to be in the on our page. So I'm going to share it. So for people who are not able to be in here, or people who won't be able to stay for the duration of the live, you guys will be able to watch the whole entire thing. Yeah. Okay, cool. So like I said, I'm Kier. I'm from Texas, but I live in LA now. So essentially, All Models Worldwide came from an organization that I had created on social media before. So I've always been like a pretty major part of social media. I know a lot of social media influencers that a lot of people would have no idea that I even know who they are. And there's a lot of social media influencers that I really, really helped like to build. But I decided to veer off a little bit from the social media part of it for a while, and which will be explained in a bit. But I eventually decided to get more into kind of like fashion modeling and working with agencies and that type of thing. But ultimately, I started with this organization that had a lot of girls who ended up actually being models, a lot of girls who actually ended up being social media influencers, and that was called Kier Angels. There's actually a YouTube video about it. this girl contacted me, and she said, "Hey, are you still doing Key Air Angels?" And I said, "No, I'm not doing that anymore. I stopped doing that in 2015. So I stopped doing that 5 years ago." And she made a whole YouTube video about it, and I think she released it like a week and a half ago or something like that. So if you guys want more information about Key Air Angels, I won't go into that here. Y'all can go watch that video. That'll give you plenty of information. But I did that, and a lot of photographers would contact me, and a lot of people just kept saying that these girls were my models, and they were not my models. Just a lot of the girls just kind of happened to model, or a lot of the girls were very pretty, and so it just kind of was what it was. And so it became easier for me to just go ahead and to embrace that, as opposed to refuting it every day. Like, they're not my models, they're not my models. I don't know anything about modeling. At the time, I didn't really particularly care anything about modeling, because I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know what the industry was like. I wasn't even looking there. But because it kept being brought up to me, just kind of in the general public, I was like, okay, you know what? I feel like, how about this? They're my models, but I will only say that once I do the research. I need to know what modeling is in the first place. What is the fashion industry? What does it even mean? How can you even get into it? Why does it matter to people? And so I said, I will only do it unless I do all the research necessary. I need to know more than everyone else about this if I'm going to be walking around saying that I'm working with models. And so that's what I did. So I did all my research. I went on Google. I went on wherever I could go, YouTube, LinkedIn. I spoke to agents. I did whatever research necessary that I felt like, if someone asked me a question about modeling, or if someone came to me about modeling, that I would have an answer for them. I did not want to not have an answer for them, because then I would look like what I'm doing is not reputable. I would look like I'm a sham. I would look like I'm just a random dude that's just talking to all these girls, and that was never the case, and that's still not the case. Well, it's definitely not the case now, because I've been doing it for like 5 years, so But at that time when I was first starting, I understood that was going to be a public perception. And so, I also knew that people were going to be asking me mad questions about it. And so I said, I'm going to know everything about it. I'm going to know everything about it, just in case somebody tries to come at me, you know what I mean, sideways, asking me questions about something. And I'm like, oh yeah, I know that. And I can give you the answer for that. And I can give you the behind the scenes of that. And I can give you references for that. And so that's ultimately kind of how All Models Worldwide began. Once I started getting more and more into the modeling, and I started to realize how reputable the modeling was, and how many opportunities there were to be a model that I felt like people didn't understand, or people didn't realize yet at the time, that like all these opportunities were available for them. I was like, I think this is something that I probably should be focusing on. And so that's why I started to veer off from the social media and go more into the modeling side of things. And also because I wasn't sure where social media was going at the time. Instagram models was not a term yet. So this is 2013 or 2014. So like the term Instagram models hadn't even become a thing yet. Like at this time. So like I've been doing this since 2009, 2010. So I've been doing this for almost a decade. But I didn't even, there was no way that I could have predicted that social media was going to blow up how it did. There was no way that I could have ever predicted that that Instagram models was going to be a thing. I could not have predicted that. And so I just went on whatever I thought was reputable at the time. Which was, I need to work with agencies. If I'm going to be working with models, then the next obvious thing would be to work with agencies and photographers and all that stuff as well. But also I need to study, which good for me, I went to college for graphic design. So I already have a pretty specific eye for stuff, just kind of in the first place. I've just always been that kind of person, just in general. Whether I was doing modeling or, All Models Worldwide or not, I was pretty much always going to have an eye for specific stuff that had a certain look. You know what I mean? I went from the Key Air Angels thing. I realized that modeling was something that I was more interested in, because I was going to be able to help people who were not already popular. And whenever you're working with people who are already popular, or like girls who, like models who are already popular, or girls who were popular at the time, it's very, very difficult for you to be able to have conversations with them, because once they start to get popular, then they kind of start doing their own thing. You know what I mean? And that's not me being bitter. That just kind of is what it is. But I realized that there were so many people who had opportunities who were not popular at all, and who might not ever be popular, but they had opportunities to model. Sorry, I was reading the comments. I'm trying to read y'all's comments right now. So All Models Worldwide began, and so what I did was I started to submit models that I felt like agencies might like, and lo and behold, I don't think that there's a single model that I've ever submitted when I first started that is not now signed to a major agency. I'm trying to think of one. I can probably go back and look, but I don't think there's a single model who I ever, there are some. There are some who got offers from agencies, but ultimately didn't end up signing. And that's a whole other discussion that we can have. You can have agents that are interested in you, but there's a million reasons why you do or don't sign. And sometimes it's not even because of the agent. Sometimes it's because of you. Sometimes it's because you realize that you're not ready, to move to London or whatever. And that's a whole different conversation for a whole different day. But so that happened, and so eventually I was like, well, you know what? I'm getting all these girls offers, to agencies. I feel like maybe I should open it up to more people, and not just have it be me who is the arbiter of who can be a model and who can't, or who will be a model and who won't. Because I've been right about some and I've been wrong about some. But ultimately, the opportunity needs to be created for everyone to be put in the same, to at least start at the same place. And then everyone will grow at whatever level that they grow, or whatever speed that they grow, based on who they're being put in front of. And so my idea was, well, I'm going to put everyone in front of all the same necessary people. And then those people will make those decisions for themselves, as far as the agents, or as far as the brands or whatever. Like if I'm submitting to brands, or like if there's jobs, every now and then I'll get jobs that they get sent to me, and they're like, hey, we need a model that has this, and this. And then I'll say, okay, cool. I'll try to go through a listing or something of models that I have that fit that look, and then I'll send them. And a lot of times they end up booking that job or whatever. But that's now I'm so busy with this that I don't really have too much time to do that anymore. I would like to do that more, but the submitting to agencies, it takes so much of my time now that I can't really focus on that. But I do want All Models Worldwide to have a heavy focus on that at some point. But as far as I'm concerned, All Models Worldwide is still kind of in its infancy, as far as how much we can do, because we're not an agency, so we don't sign models. We don't represent any models. There's no contracts or anything. All Models Worldwide is a service. It's a service. So we're not representing any of the people who work with us. They just said, hey, I want to learn how to take digitals. I need my comp cards done, and also you can submit me to a bunch of agents. Cool. I'm with that. And that's pretty much what it is that we do. I think people try to maybe overthink what All Models Worldwide is, just because it's such a new service, and because ultimately what we do seems like it's so much. And I realize that now. At the time, I didn't realize how much we were doing for models. But I eventually, at one point or another, I started to realize that we're doing a whole lot for models, and it didn't make any sense to me why people would be I'm not sure about that company. I don't know. Or sometimes people will be wow, I thought you were gonna charge a lot more than that. And I'm well, why? It's a pretty basic service, but it's a basic service to me, but it's not a basic service to everyone, to the models who are interested in working with the company. You know what I mean? Because I know it, like it does require a lot of work, but like it's very specialized work, and for people who are specialized in that, it does not require like it's not rocket science basically. You know what I mean? Like teaching somebody how to shoot digitals, it's not a very difficult thing to do. Now, granted, what I did in order to teach people how to take their digitals, I had to shoot digitals myself. And so I had to go through like a maybe 8 months or like 9 months process shooting digitals myself so I could figure out what's the best way to do it. So like I really apologize for the girls who like I started working with when I first started shooting digitals, because the girls who digitals I shoot now, I think they're amazing. And apparently agents think they're amazing because most of the girls whose digitals I shoot, they pretty much tend to kind of like them. But like it took me a while to figure that out specifically. So the examples that I send are all from digitals that I shot myself personally, like against my own wall here in LA, and I did it like specifically myself because I was very, very aware that like it is easy to shoot digitals, but there can also be a bit of an art to it. And so I wanted to make sure that like if anybody's asking me, and this is just in general, if anybody's asking me anything, I need to have done it. I need to have, well, I don't need to have experienced it, but like I need to have been a part of it. I need to have talked to people who are professionals at that. And if I'm giving you an answer based on something that that there was no expertise in my in the answer that I'm giving you, then like I shouldn't be speaking about that. Does that make sense? So yeah, these quarantine pounds need to go. So there's a couple things that I want to address. But I do want to make sure that everybody understands kind of like where it came from. I just pretty much, I've been a part of social media for a very long time. Been working with models for a very long time. I started getting girls signed to agencies. And then I was like, hey, I'm going to open it up to everybody who's willing to work with all models worldwide. Now, obviously, I needed to get a couple girls signed first for people to know that it was a real thing. Because I couldn't just pop up out of nowhere and just be like, hey, I'm gonna send you to 1,000 agents. You know what I mean? And they're like, all right, well, who have you helped before? You know what I mean? And then if I couldn't say that I've ever helped anybody, then what good does that do for me or you? And so I needed to get a couple girls signed so I could prove to myself that I know what I'm doing, and so I could also show that there's some hard proof and there's some evidence that like, oh, they actually do that. Because I can message this girl, I can DM this girl, and they will say, yeah, Kier and all models worldwide, I worked with them and they actually helped me to get signed or whatever. So that was really, really important to me. So the history is done. So I want to talk about the process, because people have a lot of questions about the process. And I have a lot of things that I want to say about the process, and just kind of like in general, a lot of the things that we get on a day-to-day. So the process is very, very simple, but the thing is that whenever the models are going, and I'm pretty sure there's some models in here who have gone through the process, there's so much information that you're given. And so it's like paragraphs. It's paragraphs of like, hey, this is what we do. It's like a long ass message, and then like the next message is like, hey, watch this this highlight and that highlight and this highlight and that highlight, and there's like a just a ton of stuff to read, and I feel like people do understand it, but it will be better if it came like from me, because I can explain it much simpler than you reading a bunch of paragraphs. Yeah, I mean, it is simple, but I just felt like I was like, you know what, I should just say it myself, because I make it sound super simple, and like it's coming from me, like the person who created the entire process in the first place, right? So the process is essentially, hey, do you want to be a model? Okay, cool. Do you know how to take digitals? Yes or no? If you don't, we'll teach you. If you think you do, We'll teach you anyway. If you do for sure, okay, cool. Then you'll just send those to us. Do you have professional images? No? Okay, that's fine. You do have professional images, but not enough for a portfolio? That's fine too. If you do have a portfolio, that's also fine. Like, it doesn't really matter one way or the other. We'll make comp cards based on what you currently have. But ultimately, as long as you have digitals, that is the most important thing. If you have professional images, then that's cool. That's extra. If you have a portfolio, then cool. That's extra. That's a bonus. But we ultimately don't really need your portfolio or really any professional images. Those are just kind of bonus. And then we'll design your comp cards. So if you only have digitals, we'll make a comp card with your digitals on it. If you have your digitals and also professional images, then we'll make 2 comp cards for you. One with digitals and one with professional images. And then we'll send that to a listing that we have of a little bit over 800 agents. That's pretty much the service. Now, I can explain that like very simply, but like whenever you're having to read through it, it seems like it's a lot more information than it is. But ultimately, we'll teach you how to take digitals. We'll make your comp cards, and we'll send you out to a whole bunch of agents, and then we'll see what they say. We'll see who's interested. Sometimes they might be interested. Sometimes they might not be interested. It just kind of depends on the model. It depends on the agency. Most of that stuff doesn't really have much to do with the All Models Worldwide service, because all we can do is submit you. But like, we don't work at the agency, so like we don't get to say, hey, you should sign this girl, you should sign this girl. All we can do is submit you, and then they'll say, this is who we like. You know what I mean? Y'all are having a whole separate conversation about things that I wanted to talk about amongst yourselves in the chat. Oh my God. Oh, I also can't touch my phone because it's gonna, it'll fall over. Okay, so if y'all could not have full conversations in the chat right now, because these are things that I want to talk about in full, and also because I'm probably the one who's gonna give you the answer that you were looking for. So yeah. Yeah. I'm seeing like all these, and they're not even questions to me or even regarding what I'm talking about. No, it's fine. It's fine. I just want to make sure that like we have like a level of progression as I'm going through everything, because everything needs to be step by step. Okay. So anyways, so that's the process. We'll teach you how to take your digitals. We'll design your comp cards for you. And then we'll submit them off to a listing that I have of about 800 agents. Now, how I got these agents is a big question that people ask me as well. In about 2016, 2017, I got access to a program that gave me access to every agency, to every email at every agency, to every individual agent under every division of every agency. And so what I did was I took 4 years to basically message every single agent at every single agency in every single division, both on that program, also on Google, also on Instagram, and also on LinkedIn. And so I spent 4 years gathering 800 contacts of agents that I could submit models to, because I knew that was a thing that models didn't have access to. Like, obviously, like you can go to whatever agency's website right now, and it might have it listed what certain agents' emails are, but you won't have all of them. So I went out of my way where I could figure out, like, who are all the agents that work there. I need all their emails. I need everyone. And so that's why I have now over 800 individual agent emails. And so I can send my packages out to all of them. And then what's also dope about them is that, like, every time I submit a package, if someone's on maternity leave, if someone's on vacation, or someone just flat out doesn't work there anymore, if the email changed or whatever, I get all that information back so I can update my system on a regular basis. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm still being thrown off by all the messages that are coming in right now. Okay, so I'm just gonna ignore all the conversations that's been had right now. But if I talk about what y'all are talking about, then I told y'all I was eventually gonna talk about it. So that's how I gathered all the contact information. I got really lucky creating All Models Worldwide because I looked up All Models USA. That was the original name for the company, and it was a thing. But because I was already working with models that lived in other countries, I looked up allmodelsworldwide.com, and that did not exist. And so I bought the name like that second. I bought the name, and so nobody can ever be All Models Worldwide pretty much ever again unless I sell it to them, I guess. Which it's kind of like a bomb name, like for the type of company that that I have, I think. So yeah, so we went through what AMW is. We went through the process. Now I kind of want to get to like a lot of the frequently asked questions that I get, which like is probably some of the stuff that y'all have been talking about that I know for a fact I'm gonna get to because I saw some of them already. So one of the main things. Well, so there are two main things. The two main things. I have questions that are specifically based on my company, and then I have questions that are specifically based on the model as an individual. So, like, what if I look like this? What if my height is like this? What if my body is like this? What if my skin is like this? I tend to get a lot of those types of questions, but then also on the flip side, I get a lot of questions about my company as a whole. And so what I want to do is I want to get all of like my company stuff out of the way, and then I'm going to talk about all the questions that I get from a modeling standpoint, because I know that's going to segue into a lot of questions that you guys have and a lot of the stuff that you guys have been talking about in the chat. So to get the All Models Worldwide questions out of the way, how much does it cost? That was the first question I got, and we're like a solid hour in, I think. Or we're like damn near an hour in. And the first question I got was how much does it cost? So for everybody who wants to know how much does All Models Worldwide cost and why does it cost, I will explain that. So we have two different packages. We have a group package and we have a solo package. A group package is where we'll just teach you how to take your digitals. We'll consult on your digitals as well. So like more often than not, we'll show models how to take their digitals, but then maybe they won't shoot them correctly, or they won't give us all the images. I mean, all the angles that we need, or the lighting was bad, or it was shot in kind of like a really funky place, or whatever. So we'll consult you through it, so we can make sure that we can get something that is adequate to send to agents. And the reason why we do that is because I can't send agents whatever photos from whatever model. Like all the images need to be up to par, because that's a reflection on All Models Worldwide as well, that we're just sending them whatever pictures that's like that, like there was no thought put into it, or like there was no like professionalism or anything. Now, when I say professionalism, that doesn't mean that your digitals need to be shot professionally. When I say professionalism, that means that these girls obviously were not being guided at all in any professional manner. Meaning they didn't even give us these angles and that angles. The lighting was poor. Why are the photos grainy? Why are they in different locations? Like from that standpoint. And so that's a negative representation of All Models Worldwide. And I'm sending to all the major agencies in the world. And so I need to make sure that we're sending them the right stuff. And so we'll consult on the digitals and make sure that they're being done correctly. From that point, I get a lot of I get a lot of things. So sometimes it's even kind of hard to like keep on track about it. But more often than not, we'll get models who are asking, okay, so the pricing is the digitals. I understand the digitals part of it. Do you only submit us once? Yes, we submit you once because the agents will more or less understand if they want to sign you or not. Like once they see you the first time. Because you're not going to change a whole lot as far as like your look, your body measurements or whatever. That then segues into, so what about my skin or stretch marks or whatever? If you have stretch marks now, you'll have stretch marks then. It just kind of is what it is. Skin is a little bit different. Stretch marks I wouldn't be super concerned about because obviously Photoshop is a thing. So most of your photos, or pretty much all of your photos, can be retouched. So if stretch marks is a thing, that's not even a thing that I would be concerned about. If you generally have bad skin, then that might be a problem for you. Like if you are regularly having breakouts on your skin, like on your face or even elsewhere, like on your chest or whatever. Chest too much I wouldn't be concerned about, but your face is going to be in every photo that you take. So if you have, I get a lot of like acne scar questions. It depends to what degree the scarring is. If it's something that can easily be photoshopped out, no one cares one way or the other really. But if you're regularly having breakouts, if you regularly have acne, then that might be a thing, and that might be something that you want to be more concerned about, as far as like talking to maybe a dermatologist or talking about certain medicines or what have you. But like I'll get like, hey, I have like a thing here, like a acne scar here from like from a pimple that I was picking at last week, and it's like, well, okay, like that's fine. It's we can take out of your digitals or your photos whatever is not normally always there. So like moles, birthmarks, that type of thing. Like we wouldn't remove that. It wouldn't make any sense for me to remove that. But if you get signed to an agency and they want to have their photographers or their retouchers remove that stuff from your photos, whether it be from like a campaign or something like that, then like let them have at it. Let them have that discussion. But being introduced to an agency, they need to know what they're getting themselves into ultimately. Like, what does this girl look like actually? So we know what we can then do if there needs to be any enhancing, or if it's unenhanceable, which is, I'm sure it's probably not a word, but it feels right. so you kind of have to make that assessment for yourself. How often are you breaking out? How severe are your acne scars? And I get a lot of that as it pertains to the digitals whenever we're helping models. Okay, so there's that. Then we take your professional photos, whether you have a portfolio or not. Now, also the thing about it is that whenever I'm creating comp cards, you need to. The comp cards are made specifically to show diversity in what you can and have shot so far, like thus far. So this happens pretty often. So I'll say, hey, send me all your professional photos. Okay, cool. They'll send me all the professional photos, but like it'll be a whole bunch of photos from maybe like 2 shoots. And it's like, okay, cool. So when I said, so I wasn't specific enough. Send me images of some level of diversity, because the purpose of a comp card is to show diversity. And so like I would not put images all from one photo shoot that are all in the same place, shot by the same person, wearing the same thing on a comp card. That wouldn't make any sense for me to do, and the agents would look at me like I was crazy. The purpose of the comp card is to show your diversity. And so if you do have professional photos, that's perfectly fine. we'll make our own evaluation on whether we believe there's diversity enough in order for us to create a comp card using those professional images. If we then decide that, oh, perfect, like we can find 4 to 5 different images that show different looks, cool, we'll make a comp card with that, no problem. If we can't find the right images that will look right together, that will fit well together on a comp card, then we won't make a comp card out of it, but we'll still put it in the submission package. If that makes sense. So the packages shows all your images basically, but the comp card can only fit at maximum 5 images. At maximum, it's usually 1 headshot, and then there's 4 images showing a couple different angles, a couple different things. Every now and then, I might just do a comp card that just has one side that only has 4 images on it. And then every now and then, I'll do a comp card that has only 3 images on it. But if we can't even find that, though, that are like good, high quality images that we feel like agents will want to see, then we just won't make a comp card with it, and that's fine. But they'll still see the good images that, that we think agents will want to see. They just didn't fit adequately on a comp card, like as far as composition goes, because composition is very, very important whenever you're putting images together. Sorry, I got who is this? Who was this sending all these messages? What's up, man? Okay, so there's that. Then the last part of it is submitting to agents. So when we submit to agents, I used to use this program, but I don't use it anymore for reasons that I can't even begin to get into here. But I have a listing of about 800 agents. Oh, you know what? I should have brought my laptop here so I can show you guys, because like I can't take pictures of it and I can't take screenshots of it, because I would then be giving you access to all the agents at like LA Models and IMG and all that stuff. So I can never post that on the page. But if my laptop was here, I could like put it at a distance and just like scroll so y'all could see how many agents it is. But there's a lot of agents that we submit to. And so whenever people are asking us like about the pricing, which I feel like y'all thought I got off the pricing and I didn't, but I have to really, really go specifically into like, this is why we charge for what we do. We do all of that, and it's so specific. And like, if I could find people who would be willing to do that for free, like, congratulations to those guys, because I don't know. Because first of all, half of them need to have gone to school for it or spent years of their life understanding this information, and then doing this for all models worldwide for free. I don't even know how to be able to convince someone to do that. And also, our bills got to get paid just like y'all's bills got to get paid. And also, this takes the bulk of my time. This takes all my time, because I don't have a regular job. This is what I do for a living. This is what I do every day, all day. I don't do nothing else but all models worldwide. And then like I have to like pay other people to like assist me with this, because there's not enough hours in a day to do this. And so like, I have to pay these people. And so like whenever, like every now and then, people will be like, wait, so why am I paying for this? And I'm like, I understand why you think that you don't have to pay for modeling, because a lot of times you will get told that you should not have to pay for modeling. But it's very specific things about, like, from modeling that you should not be paying for. And those specific things don't get explained. And so then it's anyone who is involved or who works in modeling, if they're like, hey, like, I have a fee, then models who are not familiar with it are like, what? Why would I pay you for a service that you're providing me? Which because I'm providing you a service. Like, this is what I do for a living. You know what I mean? Like, well, whatever. That's a whole different thing. I didn't want to get into that too much. but I have to pay people to do a lot of the things that need to be done as far as like designing and stuff. Now, also, I do a lot of the designing as well because I went to school for graphic design, and I actually like doing comp cards. I post a lot of times on the stories me just working on comp cards. Like, I like doing it, but also this is my job though. Actually, you know what I mean? Yeah. No. So I'm gonna save the live. I'm gonna save the live for sure. But yeah, like this is my actual job, and like the fact that we do all this, and then someone would be like, oh no, I was told I'm not supposed to pay for this. First of all, no one told you that you weren't supposed to pay for this. Someone told you weren't supposed to pay for one thing, and then you just applied that to all of modeling. So like even with like photographers, like we're like, I know a lot of photographers that like models are like, what? Why would I pay you to shoot me? Because you need images. What do you mean? Like, because like they have to spend their time, like they spend money on equipment, on the best equipment to give you the best photos. Then they have to take their time, hours, to edit your images. I don't even want to. I'll maybe bring in like a photographer buddy of mine or something like that, so we can talk about that. But I don't even want to get into that. But like, it's just weird that people think that like I would create a whole company doing like providing this whole service and then question like, this all of this isn't free. Okay. but I get it though. And this was a major question that I got about scams, which I will get into right after I finish the pricing thing. I will get immediately into the scams thing because I get a lot of questions about that. And so yeah. So the pricing is we'll submit you in a group of people, in a group of like somewhere between 8 and 10 models usually. To all the agents, but it's a package, and all of y'all's images, all of y'all's comp cards and all that stuff, they're all in one package kind of together. It's $75. And then we have a separate package that's $100. So it's only $25 extra, but we just won't put any other models in there. We'll just submit you in a package by yourself. It's only your comp cards, it's only your images, it's only your Instagram, the whole thing. It's just by yourself. And so more often than not, models tend to choose that one. And a lot of times models ask like, well, so like, is that one better? So like, so a lot of times, and like y'all know me. So like, I'm pretty, well, not all of y'all know me, but like for the most part, like y'all know like how I react to certain things or like how I talk. So like, I'm like, well, like I wouldn't have made a second package if I didn't think that package was better. but like, yes, like it is, because like you have to ask yourself, would I prefer to be presented to all the top agencies in the world with a group of a bunch of other models, or would I prefer to be presented to all the top agents in the world by myself? Which one would you prefer? You know what I mean? Now obviously $75 and $100 to a lot of people, or to some people, it's not that big of a difference. My DM was about to be wild. Yeah. So to some people, $75, $100 not that big of a difference. But I also recognize that like what my demographic is as well. And so like a lot of the people that I work with, they're college students, sometimes still in high school, like 17, 18 years old, or just flat out unemployed, or they have family situations. I've anything you could think of, I've heard it and I've seen it, and I completely understand. So like, if you don't want to do the solo package, I'm gonna be just fine, as long as you give yourself an opportunity to work with my company, and you know, also like you're paying my company, so I appreciate that as well. But don't feel pressured into getting a higher package if you feel like it's not something that you can afford, and also if you just frankly just kind of feel like you're not really even sure about, not the company, but about your potential level of success. Because every now and then I'll have models who are like, well, let me just start with the $75 package, and then maybe I'll work my way up to the $100 package. And like, it doesn't really work that way. Like you would either just kind of do one or the other. Don't do a lesser one because you're not sure about yourself. If you, or like, don't have that be the reason. Don't have that be the reason. If the reason is because you got a bunch of stuff to pay for, okay, that's fine. But the reason why you're investing less in yourself is because you don't believe enough in yourself to invest more into yourself, then that I have a problem with. But I don't have a problem with anybody who feels like they can't afford it or whatever. That's perfectly fine. That will never bother me, because everybody's been broke at one point or another, or everybody just has like things going on in their life, other things that money needs to go towards. So that's never a problem for me. But I don't want people to make decisions like about their potential based on, or I don't want people to make decisions, I guess, like which package they choose based on what they think their potential is. Because first of all, you don't know what your potential is, but you can only cultivate your potential in the belief that you have in yourself. Does that make sense? Like you can only grow about as much as you believe in yourself. And every now and then it happens the reverse way, and maybe you got lucky, and maybe somebody it's one of those things where it's a popular quote where everybody says, like, nobody else will believe in you if you don't believe in yourself, type of thing. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. But I say that to say this. I don't want anyone to think that I'm just trying to sell people on trying to pay me $25 extra, because I the $25 extra, like, first of all, most models think I charge like $500, and I don't. And also, well, so I can't lie. Like, I'm like, so everyone thinks I charge too little for my service. Like, friends of mine, family, models that have actually worked with the company have literally said that I charge too little for the company. And I'm like, I want to. The whole reason why I created it is because I saw that there were so many opportunities for people who felt like they didn't have the opportunity. And so, like, obviously my company needs to flourish, but also it needs to be affordable for people who they don't just have money to throw around on something that, like, they're not even really sure about, or money around on something that they don't even fully understand. Like, hopefully that makes sense. And also, like, what is all models worldwide? Like, first of all, this is a new thing to most people. Like as far as most of y'all are concerned, this started 2 weeks ago. And so, like, all of y'all are just like, yo, I don't even know what all models worldwide is, but it sounds good. but like a lot of people don't know that I've been doing this for like 5 years now. And like, I've been submitting models to agencies for 5 years. And then I went to college. Now, first of all, I'm 29 years old. I went to college when I was 18. So I've been studying graphic design for 11 years. So, like, this is something that I've always known about. And this is something that I've just kind of always had a knack for. I just didn't know that it was going to manifest itself into what is now all models worldwide. Oh, also, I'm not doing a finder's fee for agents, because that doesn't make any sense for me to do that, which I won't get into that in this video. Like, if y'all want me to do like a business sense video, I can do a whole thing about that. But that doesn't make any sense for me to do from a business standpoint. But yeah, so ultimately, I'm the middleman between models who just kind of are trying to figure it out. And to then, if y'all submit to me, or if I find you myself, I guess I can say, hey, listen, let's let's do this. Let's create something, and then I'll present it now to some of the top people in the world, like the top agents in the world, and let's see what they think about what we have created together, basically. So yeah, so like I said, people ask me all the time about the pricing and like why do we charge for everything, and so that's why, because it takes so much. It takes so much time. It takes so much effort. It takes so much like expertise. Like this is not just like random people that I can just pull off the street to help y'all do this. But then also like I want to keep it as affordable as possible, because people don't just have money to throw around on modeling, like or just like art in general, or entertainment in general. Entertainment is a thing that you really have to believe in yourself. Like you really have to know that you have a talent or you have something specific. And the thing about modeling is that it's so aesthetic. It's so aesthetic. So like for instance, if you're a painter or if you're like an artist, you can generally tell like, oh, this is a great piece of art. This can sell for whatever art like this would sell for. If you're a singer, you can hear that and say, oh, this person's a good singer. If you're a rapper, you can say, oh, those words that you're putting together, that sounds really fantastic. But for modeling, it's so specific, and there are too many people speaking. There are too many people there are too many people of power who are speaking on behalf of the general public, who don't care one way or the other how they think, like what they think beauty is. If that makes sense. So like, I don't really particularly care what Anna Wintour, or not granted, Anna Wintour is fantastic, but like I'm just trying to say names that like y'all would actually know. But we don't care one way or the other if we think if like whatever the person at Versace or Prada or whatever, if they think that this random girl is beautiful. First of all, I think a girl I lived on the street with, I lived down the street from is beautiful. I think she's fantastic. She could do your Prada campaign. You just don't know her. You know what I mean? Or like just like random girls that I see on Instagram, beautiful. But because they're not known, or like people don't really particularly follow them, or they're not known to be a model or whatever, then like all of a sudden like they're not good enough. Like in your eyes as the person that is this like major like fashion person, and you're supposed to know what's beautiful and what's not. Nah, I'm good. I'm good on that. You know what I'm saying? But again, whole different video. I could talk about that like for hours. I could talk about modeling in general for hours. Like I have just so much knowledge and information about it that I've kind of accrued over the last couple of years. But yeah, so I don't want this video to be too long. So what I want to do is I want to get to some of the Q&A that I would normally get. So do I submit a bunch of times? No, I only submit once. To the agents, they'll know if they want to sign you like pretty much the first time. I get asked a lot, what's the success rate? I don't determine a success rate with what we do. The reason why I don't determine a success rate with the amount of models that I send to the amount of models that get signed to agencies is because everyone's opportunity is completely individual and separate from the next model, and so it's not something that you could accurately calculate. And I could get super nerdy about it. I don't want to. I don't want to get nerdy here, but ultimately, every girl that I've submitted before you was never you. They didn't look like you. They're not like you. They're not from where you're from. So like, it wouldn't matter if I never got. Now, granted, I've gotten people signed, obviously, like y'all know this. But if I never got anybody signed, then you shouldn't think that that you won't get signed through my company just because. Like a higher percentage of girls didn't get signed before you, because these girls were never you. You have to give yourself a chance to be submitted and be seen. But don't judge whatever your opportunity is based on other people. I am a major nerd. but hopefully does that make sense? I really want, because I get that question so much, and I want everyone to know that like your opportunity is completely separate from the next model, from the last model, and from the model after you. Y'all don't have the same. Y'all's odds aren't the same. Y'all's chances are not the same. Yeah. Perfect. Okay. I want to make sure I get to specific. I get. Do you only pay once? You only pay once. So let's say you get the solo package. You pay $100. And then no agents are interested. Okay, that's fine. At least now you know how to take digitals, which, first of all, if you're taking modeling seriously, you need to know how to take digitals. And if you did not know how to take digitals before All Models Worldwide, and you now know how to take digitals after All Models Worldwide, you've now elevated yourself above a whole bunch of models who never got taught how to take digitals, which is the most important thing every model will ever have to do 1,000,000 times over. So like just that is like, it's crazy. And also get comp cards, which every model will always need comp cards. And if you don't have comp cards before All Models Worldwide and you get comp cards after All Models Worldwide, I do want to answer, is getting signed guaranteed? No, I could never guarantee that, and I've never guaranteed that, and I will never guarantee that. There's no way anyone could ever guarantee that. There's not really even a way that, like, if you talk to one agent at an agency, they almost really couldn't guarantee that, because there has to be a consensus. So there has to, so generally speaking, so like at most agencies, pretty much like the higher up you get, the more agents there are, and it has to be unanimous. So it can't be majority rules. Every agent has to decide that we all agree that we want this girl to be represented by this agency, which is like, I have my thoughts on that, but I won't get into that now because that has nothing to do with me. But I have I have 1,000,000 things planned that I want to do with All Models Worldwide that, like, eventually maybe that won't be the case. But it has to be unanimous. So everyone has to decide. Again, this is not every agency, but the better majority of like the top agencies, everyone has to agree. If it's one of those things where it's like 9 out of 10, then probably you get signed. Or like if it's like 8 out of 10, like probably like you'll get signed. But if it's like 60-40, or I guess 40-60, not in your favor, then it's likely you won't get signed. So, you know, there's just that. That's pretty much how that works. So I want to say real quick that we have 2 minutes left. I want to make sure that I get all Models Worldwide stuff out of the way. So I talked about how we started. I talked about how I created it and just about myself. I talked about the pricing. I talked about the success rate. I talked about how everything works, how I have all the agents that I have that I submit to. I talked about acne scars. I talked about how we teach you how to take digitals, how we design the comp cards. We pretty much, I think, right? Like we pretty much covered all the stuff. Like as far as AMW goes. But like if y'all want to do another live right like immediately after this, then I will actually answer y'all's questions, like whatever questions y'all have. But I really kind of the time frame. The time frame varies. It just depends on how many models we have kind of at a time. But it generally takes us like about a month or so to get through all the models and to get everything designed and submitted out to agents. So I do get that question a lot. So yeah, it takes about like a month or so. I will save the live. But again, if y'all want to go live after this, everybody who's in here right now, and then I'll just answer y'all's questions. And then if like some of y'all wanna come like live with me, then we can go kind of like split screen and we could talk and just kind of interact. But I wanted to really just get all models worldwide stuff out the way. We got 15 seconds. I don't have a YouTube. I'm thinking about making one, but I don't. So we got 8 seconds. I'm gonna make a new chat, and yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. Bye.